Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for July 15th, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 196. I am MayorWatt, and I run ohmTown.com. That's that site right there, and the Sentient AI is not available today, but I'm still going to be doing the show. We're going to start with Don't Bet on Friday. GM uses CT scanners in their plant. Got to collect them all from all of the rival stores. Train brakes can be tweaked by hackers. Ocean Breeze 11. It's a horrible, horrible sequel. Lucid hands-free driving. Starbucks is offering a $25,000 reward for the best drink. Apple commits to rare earth magnets. Space laser test. And do you want Wi-Fi tracking your movements? So, do you? Do you feel lucky? I don't know what that has anything to do with this, but anyway, everything is powered by ohmTown.com. Go over there, sign up, sign in. All kinds of news flows through ohmTown, thousands of articles, just little headlines and segments. We don't take the whole thing. It's actually provided by our sources. And so we've got them all lined up. Go over there and check them out for yourself. But you can hang out here in Twitch chat and YouTube. We stream to both. But there's a podcast and a Patreon and a Discord. Every once in a while I do TikTok stuff, but just a bit. All right. Anyway, everything's powered by ohmTown. Go check it out. All right, everybody. So I do this periodically. 6 categories, all kinds of articles get funneled into 50 categories. I'm launching a new show called Constructagon, which is all about 3D printing. You might hear it grinding away right now in the background. There's a 3D printer right there that just made some weird sound as I was talking about it. Hold on a second. I need to disable something. There we go. If you want today's show notes, they're already embedded over on the YouTubes, but let me see if ohmTown already, if I put them in ohmTown. I had some mayoral duties that I had to attend to. So, yeah. So they're in the chat too now. So, but I wanted to let everybody know that, so the Saturday and Sunday shows are no more in the conventional sense on Twitch. I'm only going to be streaming Monday through Friday now. Saturday and Sunday is going to be sporadic, hit or miss. I wish I could promise to do the shows, but unfortunately my mayoral duties are going to be impacted for the foreseeable future, probably until the next summer of stream, unless something changes with the dynamic here on Twitch and YouTube in terms of me streaming. I would like to do more, but my mayoral duties get in the way. It really, I don't know. Anyway, that said, all 6 of the weekend shows will still be made, but they'll be posted over on YouTube and into the podcast. They won't be live streamed onto Twitch or YouTube. But the Monday through Friday Non Sequitur News shows will be broadcast live. They will also be broadcast over on YouTube, but programmed to run on Fridays or Saturday and Sunday. All 3 on Saturday and all 3 on Sunday, but yeah. Anyway, it is the way of the world. At least at this point, I can't commit to 8 hours plus a day streaming. So, at least not yet. At any rate, that's it. Let's get going. The first article is over in the Mobile channel. Don't bet on Friday. Research shows financial risk-taking rises at the end of the work week, and it doesn't pay off. The ancient Roman leader Julius Caesar and the hands of Shakespeare warned, beware the Ides of March, but 21st century data shows that at the end of the work week, the month, and year, that financial investors should treat carefully. It says, I think, tread carefully. So Ken McGuffin, University of Toronto, put the article together. It's posted over at phys.org. Ken McGuffin, Gabby Clark and Andrew Zenin had their hands in this article as well. Let me close that right there. So previous research has shown that new periods serve to disconnect individuals from their past selves and offer a fresh start, right? Researchers Avni Shah, an associate professor of marketing at the University of Toronto, Scarborough, who is cross-appointed to the University of Rotman School of Management, and Xinglong Li of Singapore's Nanyang Technological University, who's a graduate of the Rotman PhD program. Our research suggests that at the end of periods, landmarks, so any period of time where it's a notable landmark of time, they may be important in affecting even the consequential risk decisions. So people who make a decision to be risky on Friday or at the end of the month or at the end of the year, the return on their investment is not reliable. So during the period, borrowers could request unsecured loans between $2,000 and $25,000. They also set their maximum acceptable interest rate. Lenders bid on the loan request with access to the borrower's financial history. However, borrowers with higher maximum interest rates were likelier to default, data shows, making bids on their loan requests riskier, although also more profitable if borrowers fulfill their repayment. So people were risky either way, and sometimes they didn't actually... well, they would default on their loan, which is just bad all around. So despite all of the optimism, Prosper data still showed that those riskier loans made on the last days of the work week and month ultimately had a significantly lower rate of return than loans made on any other day. So to mitigate the potential consequences, platforms such as Prosper, where financial risk-taking is detrimental to both lenders and borrowers, could benefit from making the financial risks associated with higher interest rate loans more explicit. Yeah, there's a lot more over here at this article, but essentially you don't want to make risky decisions on a day where it's basically a landmark day, like Fridays or the end of the month, end of the year, or some period that is even it's well known as a period. So, a holiday season type of a thing, the beginning of the new year, that kind of thing. You need to go in with eyes wide open, is what pretty much is the shakeout from the research. The next article, though, is over in FourWheelTech, from the hospital to the car plant. What is GM doing with CT scanners? More and more, we're seeing imaging technologies and machine learning showing up in automotive application. It usually is to diagnose some kind of a problem with quality control, but not always. The camera-based system of UVI that the authors wrote about a few years ago made news recently after Hertz started using it to charge renters for things like scuffs on hubcaps, which is batshit crazy. They have a few concerns about customer abuse, with General Motors using CT scanning, which simply seems like a clever adaptation of medical technology into another industry. But what is actually going on here? So Jonathan M. Gitlin over at arstechnica.com put the article together. It says GM first turned to X-rays as a way of doing two-dimensional quality control on castings during the development process. This is pretty typical kind of testing. Depending on the field you're in, it looks for poor welds, cracking, metal fatigue, things like that. So what they're trying to do with the tool is to look at where the defects are, to change their processes so that when they build it, they don't have to deal with the defects and then ramp plan that comes with it. And they have to... it says destructive testing used to be the name of the game, slicing a casting into bits to see if there were any problems in it, but not now. You can CT scan the object, see if there is anything in the casting's overall implementation without it being destructive. If this was faster, you'd be able to do it 100% of the time, scan every single casting to make sure it hits. And it's kind of like milling a barrel on a gun. They can actually store that data, and there is data stored regarding the rifling. So essentially, exactly what the failure potential is because you've analyzed so many of these over time. The casting that they're showing in this looks like a transmission. So depending on what they're trying to do, it's GM's 10-speed transmission rotating in a CT scanner. If they do that for every single one and they know when it actually ends up failing, then they can say this casting in this with these flaws has a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year lifespan. but I doubt that they would actually be forthcoming with that data. Anyway, it scans the entire object, and so it looks for flaws within the casting and then lets the engineers know. Let's keep going. The next article is over on WarCrafters. Pokemon card shop in Japan allegedly robbed its rival trading card shop owner. There's no use thinking you won't get caught. We will definitely catch everyone, is in quotes here. Small, portable, sometimes worth so much money that they give you even Pikachu a shock. Rare Pokemon cards have increasingly become the target of theft and other crimes. Japanese news outlet Sanspo and Automaton recently reported that Pokemon cards and cash worth a combined total of 13.7 million yen, or about 92,000 US dollars, as per the current exchange rate, were stolen from a trading card shop. And the twist is that the third person arrested in this ongoing case is apparently the manager of a rival trading card store nearby. Yeah, gotta collect them all from somebody else's store. So the robbery happened on June 16th at around 3:30 a.m. at the Card Shop Masters in central Japan's Gifu prefecture. Two men in their 30s were later arrested for breaking and entering. Oh, so they actually broke in. According to the Sanspo article, one of the men is suspected of threatening the owners with a knife before taking the cards and cash. So how did they get caught? Anyway, somebody said in a post that they're going to get caught on July 10th, which has since attracted over 1 million views. Commenters expressed sympathy with the victim and shocked that someone would rob a shop in the same line of work. Incidentally, there was a similar Pokemon card robbery that took place in Japan last year. Back in September, two men broke into a trading card seller in Osaka around 3:30 a.m. They threatened the employee, who had just been live streaming a card sale, with a knife, tied them up, and then took over 100 cards worth over 10 million or $67,000, 10 million yen, as well as 250,000 yen or $1,700 in cash. So this is really interesting. I wonder if they're the same people. It has the same MO. Verity Townsend over at IGN.com put this article together. Pretty cool. There's more over at the article, so go check it out if you are oh so motivated. Let's keep going though. The next article, it's over on Wanted. That's one of our weekend shows. Hackers can tamper with train brakes using just a radio, warns the feds. So how bad is this? You could remotely take control of a train's brakes controller from a very long distance away using hardware that costs sub $500. Now, when I give demonstrations of stuff like this, people ask me why I do that kind of stuff. You're just telling people how to do it. Well, in a way, yeah. But the reality is that the way that I do it is I'm trying to enlighten people so that they become the immediate responders to their own defense instead of a victim to somebody else's knowledge. So I give demonstrations to raise awareness about this type of thing. So how bad is a $500 object that can mess with train brakes? Somebody's already figured out how to do it. I'd rather them fix the problem than to rely on obfuscation and ignorance. That doesn't work. That does not work. Not one bit. It never works. It never will work. You build a better mousetrap and smarter mice show up. Smarter mice force the system to change. You build a better mousetrap and even smarter mice show up. That's just the way that it works. It's the ebb and flow of technology, society, and science, or science, technology, and society is STS, and that's kind of a standard, particularly in academia. Anyway, so these hackers, Bruce Gill over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. I don't know if this they have a picture of a train that looks like it hit something, but I don't know if that has anything to do with this. But the flaw has to do with the protocol used in a train system known as end of train and head of train. The flashing rear end of the device, FRED, is also known as an end of train device, or EOT. It's attached to the back of the train, sends data via radio signals to a corresponding device in the locomotive called the head of train, or HOT. Commands can also be sent to the FRED to apply the brakes at the rear of the train. These devices were first installed in the 1980s for a replacement for caboose cars, and unfortunately they lack encryption and authentication. This is the same thing that has happened year over year over year, where things get attached to the internet that were never supposed to be attached, like SCADA devices that are attached to water pumps and fuel systems and all kinds of places, the air conditioning controllers and stuff like that, that suddenly they go, oh, well, we can attach it to the internet, but they don't modify the protocol. They don't encrypt anything. It's just put on the system, and then somebody figures out how to hack it. And somebody is always knocking on every door. There are millions of people out there that are trying to break into systems unauthorized. Why? You think of the reason, and there is somebody out there that's interested in finding an exploit because of that reason, whatever it might be. They woke up and they're angry at their cat because it meowed. They're going to go and hack something. It really doesn't matter. There's just a ton of people out there. So successful exploitation of this vulnerability could allow an attacker to send their own brake control commands to the end of train, causing a sudden stoppage of the train, which could lead to a disruption of operations, induce a brake failure, derailment, etc. CISA credits researchers Neil Smith and Eric Reuter for reporting the vulnerability to the agency. And they could have been literally just listening. There's myriad devices, but they could have just been using a software-defined radio and listening to stuff. They could have been picking up the packets by using like a Wi-Fi pineapple or something like that. Anyway, in 2024, Smith brought up the issue again with the agency. Smith wrote on Twitter that the AAR still felt the issue was not a big deal, but in April, the industry group announced that it would finally start upgrading the outdated system in 2026. It's because nobody wants to spend money on security until it hits them. Unfortunately, even bad press is good press, and I'm surprised that they're doing anything. If they can't find that somebody has actually exploited it at some point, then I'm surprised that they're spending money on it. Money over humans is pretty typical. So let's move on. The next article is over on the Marvel channel. Man escapes prison by hiding in released cellmate's laundry bag. The inmate, they identify the person, but escaped from the maximum security Lion Corbus prison on July 11th by hiding inside a large canvas bag typically used by prisoners being released. Their cellmate, whose sentence had ended that day, rolled the heavy bag out to a waiting car. No one stopped them, no one checked the bag, and no one noticed anything unusual until the next day. They said it was a rare event. I labeled this article Ocean Breeze 11. It's kind of funny. They just kind of broke out by pretending to be dirty laundry. They took out their dirty laundry. So they say it's an extremely rare event that they've never experienced in this administration. France's prison director told a local news outlet, adding that the escape revealed a whole series of serious dysfunctions, like this sentence. So they said that they weren't a petty theft doing something dumb for attention. He was serving time for multiple offenses tied to organized crime and had an active committal warrant as part of an ongoing judicial investigation. Once his escape was discovered 24 hours later, authorities launched a nationwide hunt. He was found the next day crawling out of a cellar in Southany Camp, just north of Lyon. Police arrested him without incident. His alleged accomplice, now former inmate who carried the bag, remains missing. The next article is over in Late Night Geeks. Lucid Motors will roll out hands-free highway driving this month. Lucid Motors joins Ford, General Motors, Tesla in offering advanced driver assistance system that allows for hands-free driving. Nothing bad could happen, right? Anyway, Lucid, pretty typical in the US, $150,000 car, $100,000 car. Sean O'Kane over at TechCrunch.com put the article together. Lucid says that the hands-free update is only coming to the Air sedans for now, with an update rolling out to owners of the Gravity SUV slated for later this year. The company has barely started shipping Gravity SUVs anyway, with Cox Automotive reporting this week that only 5 were delivered in the second quarter. The system is also only available to customers who bought an Air equipped with the $2,500 Dream Drive Pro package. Oh my. Oh, the Dream Drive Pro. Anyway, it has a comprehensive suite of 32 sensors that includes LiDAR, radar, cameras, and ultrasonics. All right. Lucid has delivered around 20,000 cars since 2021. It's wild that I've seen several Lucids, but only 20,000 of them have been delivered since 2021. Huh. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Hatch Ideas, which is all about business transformation, intellectual property development. Starbucks is offering $25,000 for the best customized drink and finally reveals its secret menu. If you think your customized Starbucks order should be on the menu, you could win thousands in cash. That's some sweet Starbucks. Aaron Davis over at entrepreneur.com put the article together. Runners-up will win $5,000 each. There's 3 of them, but one grand prize winner will win $25,000. Starbucks has never revealed the menu actually existed until now. Rewards members can see some of the most popular secret menu drinks in their offers tab in the app. But the secret that I'm actually interested in is this contest. So to enter the contest, contestants build a drink on the Starbucks website, like placing an order on the app. For the contest, all drinks are a grande size. First, you choose the style, hot or cold, coffee or tea, refreshers, frappuccino, hot chocolate, lemonade. Next, the roast, blonde, medium, dark, decaf, the style, Americano, latte, macchiato, flat white, and then the various mix-ins and customizations, milks, flavors, cold foams, toppings, number of espresso shots, and sweeteners. The only fine print is that the contestants have to be 18 years old. The winners will be selected based on taste, creativity, and fan appeal. And there's a link to the contest over at Entrepreneur, so follow the link through ohmTown over there. Go and check it all out. Let's keep hustling through tonight's articles. This next article is over on TechnologyToday. That's one of our weekend shows that's now pivoting to only be posted on YouTube. I will not be available on the weekends for the foreseeable future, at least with any reliability, but the shows will still continue. I just won't be streaming the 6 weekly shows. They'll only be posted over on YouTube from now on. But we'll be streaming, or I should say I'll be streaming. I'm not sure when the Sentient AI will be available again. Monday through Friday, and then the composite shows for Saturday and Sunday Non Sequitur News will be posted over on YouTube as well. Unless I might be able, what my plan is to stream when I'm not live streaming. I'm streaming the news from the last 2 weeks. In a loop. Anyway, but it's like 160 articles, 24 hours, 28 hours or something like that. At any rate, so Apple commits $500 million over several years to buy US made rare earth magnets. So Apple just released a commitment of $500 million over several years. Rare earth magnets are used by everybody in technology, basically. They're used in a number of products from the iPhone, MacBook, Apple Pencil stylus. They say American-made magnets will be shipped throughout the world to help meet increasing global demand for the materials. MP Materials, by the way, this company right here just got a massive investment from the federal government. Like, the government is a major shareholder of MP Materials. The only fully integrated rare earth producer in the country, the 2 companies have also pledged to work together to improve upon processing facilities in Texas, building a series of manufacturing lines specifically. This article is by Lawrence Bonk over at Engadget.com. I'm not sure if they're going to mention this. American innovation drives everything we do at Apple, and we're proud to deepen our investment in the U.S. economy. Let's see if they actually, yeah, the Pentagon just invested in it. So I wonder if they actually say this. Do they say it? No, they mentioned this right here. Pentagon becomes largest shareholder of MP Materials. I talked about this. I think it was maybe Friday. Yeah, I'm not sure anymore. Anyway, yeah, it's weird federalization of companies. Anyway, the next article, like I understand tactical to practical, don't get me wrong. Usually that's in coordination between academia, business, and federal investment, basically tax dollars being utilized to develop fundamental research into something that is delivered first and foremost to the government, and then it becomes practical. You know, Velcro and whatever else have you. I can't even talk about some stuff, but the like GPS is the most well-known one that everybody talks about in technology. That started out as a federal project. Google, for instance, is actually a DARPA project that became public. It was designed to gather information. It was a grant research project. Quite fascinating, right? Anyway, it happens quite a bit. But ownership of a business and it's flagged as being owned by a federal agency, maybe I've ignored it all my life, but it was so overt when it came out that kind of shocked me. But anyway, the solar system internet space laser test moves us closer. The deep space optical communication link could revolutionize how scientists communicate with spacecraft as they explore the solar system. This is something that we have been talking about over the last 4 years. Well, 3 years and 7 months. We've talked about this deep space optical communication link. There is a satellite out in space that actually moves data via laser light much faster than what's here on terrestrial Wi-Fi. It's pretty amazing technology. Pasant Rabi over at Gizmodo.com put this article together. Scientists at the ESA used a laser to communicate with a spacecraft 165 million miles away in deep space for the first time, marking a major step forward in their effort to build optical communication systems for future missions to the moon and beyond. The problem is getting to the moon is pretty complex, and they want to build what amounts to a GPS style system so that it's no longer a trajectory and hope you get there kind of a thing. It's you follow the beacons until you hit your target. Scientists at the Cryoneri Observatory near Athens, Greece, shot a powerful laser at NASA's Psyche mission, which then sent a return signal to the Helmos Observatory, which lies some 23 miles away from the signal's origin. We actually talked about the amount of data that it transferred, and I can't remember what it was. I hope that they talk about it in the article. I'm scanning it really quick, but no, they don't. Anyway, on a mission to investigate metal-rich asteroid beyond Mars, Psyche also carries DSOC, a gold-capped laser transceiver designed to test long-distance communications. DSOC managed to beam a video of an orange tabby cat named Taters chasing a laser pointer some 19 million miles back to Earth, a technological feat of the highest order. Psyche itself uses radio to talk to its handlers on Earth, but laser communication systems could significantly speed up the conversation. True. They said the method enables data transmission rates some 10 to 100 times greater than the radio frequency systems used by spacecraft, according to the agency. You just have to be able to hit basically the tip of a needle with the tip of a needle from millions of miles away. So they did it this time. So hopefully it becomes that much more just easier over time. They become much more proficient at it. I can't find the data rate, but anyway, we have actually talked about this in ohmTown several times. And our last article for tonight. Okay. Let's try this again. There we go. What just happened? Weird. So it's over in the mobile channel. It's actually from Vice, but would you want Wi-Fi tracking your movement in your home? Comcast Xfinity is betting you do. When enabled, you can receive push notifications about activity in your home and enjoy added peace of mind, reads Market Fluff from Comcast Xfinity. They say that they're not confident that Comcast and the author here has the same idea of what peace of mind constitutes. So the concept of their own Wi-Fi tracking the location of everybody that is moving from kitchen to living room to toilet does the opposite of providing peace of mind. It fills them with dread. I agree. Stay the hell out of my space unless I invite you in, which is fine. If you want to be invited in by somebody, then let them. But no, I don't want you scanning my the mayoral mansion for any reason. You've got nothing to do with it, so you stay the hell out. Matt Janser over at Vice.com, I think, is in the right mindset here. The concept of their own home's Wi-Fi tracking the location of everyone as they move from kitchen to living room to toilet. So yeah, I don't use Comcast equipment. In fact, I recommend people buy their own cable modem and their own Wi-Fi equipment and balkanize their interior from the exterior, essentially setting up an edge of your network switch so that whatever is happening on the outside stays on the outside, and whatever's happening on the inside stays on the inside. Nobody knows what goes on between the two. You can even put a VPN in there. But anyway, without knowing anything about the situation, the author says their first inclination was that Wi-Fi motion works by tracking the devices that keep people glued to themselves, that people have it glued to themselves as they move around the home, whether in the hands or their pockets, whatever, it doesn't matter. So they say, check out the diagram above. You set up a Wi-Fi motion by connecting 2 or 3 stationary Wi-Fi capable devices in your home, and they form an oval zone between them. That's your motion sensing territory. So whether the person has any devices on them or not, when they walk between this territory, the connected Wi-Fi devices sense that a physical object, a person, is interrupting the wireless signal as it's attenuating the signal. And so they know when somebody is passing between this field. It's like a force field, but when an object passes between radio transceivers, it attenuates the signal. It causes it to drop a little bit. So they can actually pick up when that signal drop took place. And because they have frequencies that are talking to each other, it is when it attenuates or drops, the signal between when it drops and when the signal drop is received by one of the sides, they can actually extrapolate what it is that's in there, at least in terms of where they are in that field. It's very, very creepy. You can do the same thing at home with not motion sensors, but presence sensors. You can put them in the corner of your rooms, and it knows when somebody is in the room, not because there's motion, but because it has been mapped out that the room looks like this to that detector. It's quite fascinating technology that's out there. So Xfinity says here, they're quick to point out that Wi-Fi motion is not a home security service and is not professionally monitored. So it's doing what? It's supposed to help you out, but there are other solutions out there that aren't feeding into Comcast. I would do anything. Like, I really want people to be in charge of their own security and not rely on something like that. Anywho, that is the last article. So we're going to Wi-Fi track ourselves back to the front page of ohmTown on July 15th, 2025. And I'm going to bow out of here. So thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the show. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast, Non Sequitur News. And then there's 6 others that are, I said 6 others. So 6 others, whatever. Anyway, there's 6 other podcasts that are weekly shows, but Non Sequitur News is every day. All right. That's it. We're out of here. Bye-bye. See you on Twitch. See you on YouTube. I'm going to try and stream tomorrow, but just kind of chill stuff. Just stuff's been going on, So see you in a little bit. Bye bye, everybody.